Hi, I am Harish Goteti and welcome back to Nava Software Solutions YouTube channel. In my previous videos, I explained a lot about a migration evaluator. I gave you an overview of what migration evaluator is, and what migration evaluator. I also gave you a technical overview of migration evaluator and also did a demo or a walkthrough of the business case document that migration evaluator provides to partners that they can share with their customers to understand or to review the data and in detail and make the right decision for the migration. So that's migration evaluator. Since we are in the era of Gen AI, generative AI, right? So AWS has information about thousands of migrations in the past, right? So by leveraging that information or the all the data, AWS built a new service called AWS Transform, which is basically a generative AI based tool to do the same thing or even better than the migration evaluator. So in today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of AWS Transform tool, which is a new generative AI based tool to do the to do the migration evaluations or migration assessments. So let's get started. AWS Transform for VMware, the first agentic AI service for modernizing VMware workloads at scale. So customers want a choice and flexibility where customers are looking for solutions that help them not just migrate, they also want to modernize securely at scale. So migrate and optimize workloads is option one, where you move them to AWS and you reduce some cost saving and create optimize them for cost savings, right? So that's option number one. The second option is to transforming those workloads into cloud native services. Those are the two options the customers have, or the flexible options that customer have when they migrate to AWS. So the solution really is, again, going back to the 7 hours, right? So you can, for the VMware workloads, you can either rehost them, replatform them to EC2, replatform them to containers, replatform them to manage services for the databases, file storage, etc., or refactor and build a new serverless applications using Lambda, right? So, or build the cloud native services. So these are the options that are available for VMware customers. So modernize with Amazon EC2 is basically you're just getting rid of the VMs and getting them onto Amazon EC2 so that everything looks the same. It's just that instead of VMware instances, you use Amazon EC2, right? So that is what it means. And this is the this diagram sums it all, right? So it explains you what it looks like, right? So for a customer who is a VMware customer, if you look at it, the vCenter will become AWS console. All your VMs will be Amazon EC2 instances. The network, logical NSX, all this networking stuff will become your VPC. The storage clusters will become either your EBS or FSX, and all the infrastructure is managed by AWS. So it simplifies significantly for you with respect to the managing your whole infrastructure after you migrate to AWS. So again, going back to the migration approach, all right. So assess, mobilize, migrate, and modernize. So you are familiar with this since I covered this in multiple videos. So over the past 18 years, AWS and partners built multiple tools for assessment, discovery, planning, migration, and modernization. Right. So but this three-phase approach, if you want to do this iterative approach for multiple times, let's say you have 1,000 VMs, right? So if you want to do this multiple times, there is it is labor intensive, even though it really is done with agentless collector and stuff. Still, it is labor intensive. Sometimes you run into errors, and then there'll be collaboration bottlenecks, right? So what we do, for that is basically we can leverage, large language models, process that can process lines of code, understand the business logic beyond rule-based system, graph neural networks plus LLMs, and that is basically results into agentic AI automation, right? So right now, AWS is introducing AWS Transform for VMware customers. It's the first agentic AI service for modernizing VMware workloads at scale. So it has a unified web experience. It already has a foundational LLMs that has been trained over, with a ton of data over the last 18 years that AWS has. And then it has AI agents that are domain experts, and we'll talk about it in a second. There is always a human in loop to make sure things are running properly. So automation using purpose built services, and you can collaborate within multiple teams. So multifunctional team collaboration is built into this transform service. So how does it look like? So discovery and data ingestion happens, right, with the agents. Then it does the wave planning. Wave planning is, hey, what has to be moved to AWS first, right? And then network conversion and migration, and VMware migration and deployment. So it does that for you. So you know so how it basically works is an agentic AI based approach to VMware modernization. So first you connect to your VMware environment, analyze workloads, dependencies, and readiness, convert VMware networking configurations to native AWS constructs, generate intelligent wave plans based on application dependencies, validate with your team, and then you just go ahead and execute, so everything comes to AWS. Well, here's the transformation journey. So in your data center, you have AWS Transform. It connects to the back to AWS VPC. It will figure out what needs to happen, whether it is Linux EC2 and machines or build a serverless, and then what kind of database should it be using. It figures out everything and does it for you. So collaborative migration experience with generative AI agents. So you have a workspace where you go ahead and you define everything, right? So you create the job plans for the EC2 instances, and you have discovery, wave planning, network conversion, and deployment and server migration. So these are the different things that are available in Transform. We'll do a deep down hands-on video later, but this is just to give you an overview. So what are the key benefits of it, right? The key benefit is lower costs, right? So for since it's AI driven, and automatically migration happens, speeds up migration. So AWS claims that accelerate network conversions up to 80 times, right? So it minimizes disruption and preserving the application integrity, right? So improve security with cloud native foundations, because there is always a human in loop to validate if everything is as meets your organization standards, right? So you can innovate at scale because you can modernize applications automatically, because the LLMs understand how to go ahead and rewrite the applications and integrate with all the AWS native services. So extremely powerful tool, state of the art, recently launched a tool to help VMware customers migrate and modernize their workloads within AWS. I hope this video gave you an overview, basic understanding that AWS is at the cutting edge of innovation with respect to agentic AI and generative AI services, and they just don't sell it; they use it to help customers also innovate faster by migrating their workloads to AWS. I hope this video is useful. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe to this channel. Thank you.